Hi guys, it's SimLicy here, so welcome to another speed build and another part of my renovating base game series. So this is a series where I'm renovating the base game builds and using only base game to do it, and this time I am back in Willow Creek and I'm working on the Streamlet single lot, which is in this starter neighborhood. And originally the house is a starter house, and after my renovation it is definitely not a starter house. I didn't pay attention to the price, so I don't really know how far away from the starter price it is, but I imagine it's quite a bit because I used some more like fancier looking pieces and I really just wanted it to feel fully decorated. Of course, with this series, I am doing a little bit more of like a minimalist decorating style, so not as cluttered as some of my builds where I use like all of the packs or something, and I just really wanted to feel more in that EA style and just be more compatible with different types of computers and really just to be more player friendly. So hopefully I achieved that, hopefully in my other builds as well. But anyways, one of the biggest changes that I made is here on the back of the build. I decided to add like a little extra porch area just to add access to the back of the house from the back of the house basically. And so I just put a tiny little 1 tile wide porch there, and then it's like 3 tiles long, and then there's just a little staircase, and then I make a tiny little outdoor area that's closed in with a fence and these hedges, and I put a barbecuer, some decorations, an outdoor dining table, and it's just like a nice little area that I think is really cute. And then the other biggest changes I made, well, I made a change to the height of the house. I actually changed it to the shortest wall height because originally it was the medium wall height, and I think it just made the house look too tall and awkward for the windows and just the neighborhood. And I believe all of the other houses so far I've done the same thing, so now they just kind of match together a little bit nicer. But yeah, anyways, the other big change that I made was to the floor plan. I mean, everything's still in the same location, but as you may have noticed, I made the kitchen a lot bigger because it was a lot smaller originally, and I just wanted to open it up to the living area and have the living area be smaller because I really didn't see the reason for it to be that big of a room. And then I could bring the dining table into the kitchen and have it be more of one space rather than having the dining room and the kitchen one space. So, or the dining room and the living room, sorry, be one space. So that's what I decided to do, and I actually really like it. Something you might notice in the before and after pictures at the end of the video, I do change the rotation of this dining table because I was having trouble getting the kitchen to work, and I don't know if it was the refrigerator or the stove or both, but my playtester sim was hungry, so I figured I might as well playtest the kitchen, and I'm so happy that I did because my initial thought was that everything would work fine, but I guess the chairs were blocking the sim from getting close enough to the stove to make it work. So I just rotated it around the other direction just by like 90 degrees. So I think that was a really good solution, and it still looks about the same. And then over here is going to be the living area. So it's where the living room was originally. And these before and after pictures are going to be quite dramatic because I fully decorate the house, and it was a starter originally, like I mentioned. So it only had like 1 couch in here, and I think 1 coffee table, and I think it may have had a TV like on a tiny little table, but there wasn't like a full set of furniture, a fireplace, and it was just very sparsely decorated and very basic furnitures and actually really basic colors. Like the exterior is quite colorful with all of the green, and so I really wanted to bring that into the interior because the interior was just very beige. Like I had beige and white tiles, which I kept because I like the beige and white. I just switched it to a different tile style basically, but the colors are still there. But with the tile and then with the carpet and the flooring and some of the furniture choices, it was very beige. And so I wanted to bring in more of that green, and I really liked bringing that into the interior. I thought it brightened it up a lot. It made it feel like it just had more personality. And I was trying to imagine the sim that lives here, and I kind of just figure it's like an older sim. I don't know if they're an older adult or an elder, but I just imagined it was a single older sim that lived by themselves. I think that's just because the more traditional furniture pieces I was picking, so it just made it feel like an older sim would live here. But I really don't know. I didn't think about it too much, so if you guys have any ideas, I would love to hear it. But over here is going to be the bedroom, so it's exactly the same location where the bedroom was originally. And I did consider for a moment adding another bedroom because if I would have, I don't know, I think I probably could have turned this into a 2-bedroom house if I wanted the living room to be much smaller, but I don't know. I decided just to leave it alone, but I think there's possibilities if you decided you want to have a family here, but I think this would be a great house for a single sim. And I really like the way the bedroom turned out. I end up actually moving the furniture here in just a second because I really wasn't liking the orientation of like the dresser with the bed and the nightstands. Everything was just kind of accumulating on that one wall, and it just felt very heavy on one side of the room, and I don't know, I didn't like it. And I felt like the nightstand had a little bit of like an awkward location here next to the bed, and so it's just a little bit away from the wall. And so what I end up doing is placing a stand-up lamp here, but I decided not to, and I put a plant in its corner and put the 2 bedside lamps on the tables instead, and I thought this looked a lot better. And then here on the front porch, I put a chess table just to sort of add a skill building activity and something for your Sims to do on the front porch, and I add a few plant decorations, and I think it just looks so cute. And I'm so happy that I decided to change the wood flooring here on the front, because originally the staircase and the flooring was white, and not that it didn't really match, because of course the house had like white trim on the windows, and you know, there was white other places, but I just felt like it looked very plain and just not that interesting. So I think changing it to a more like brown wood tone was a better option. But here I'm working on the landscaping. I completely redid the landscaping, and I was honestly very unsure what I wanted to do. I didn't know like what plants I wanted to use and how I was going to place everything. So I kind of just started doing it and was hoping for the best, but I didn't have any plan of attack really. I mean, I knew I wanted there to be more outdoor activities because originally there was no outdoor activities. There was an open yard, so of course you could place things and I don't know, add certain things if you wanted to, but I wanted it to be more purposeful and have more like specific places for those activities. Hopefully that makes sense. And so I enclosed this little area in the back, and I really love this spot. I think it looks so cute. And then here I'm just using the tool mod to place that hedge closely to the house in that corner, because unfortunately with it being close to the foundation and the way the house was shaped at this point, made it like snap up to the level of the foundation, so it made it a little bit tricky to place, but the tool mod is very handy for that. But yeah, here I'm just continuing with the landscaping using the different hedges and bushes and trees, and I'm adding some garden gnomes. I thought this would be really cute, and I recently used the garden gnomes in another renovation when I did the 7 days of base game for the Rindle Rose house, and I just think the gnomes are so cute in these Willow Creek houses. So yeah, I thought that was really adorable, and I put a few planter pots, and then here in this little enclosed area I put the dining table and the barbecue like I was talking about, and a few live edit objects, decorative plants, just to sort of fill in the space and add a little bit more detail without adding like a whole lot of extra clutter and unnecessary things basically. And here I'm just kind of adjusting the hedges and changing the size of them and adding a couple of trees here in the back. And then I also bring the trash can from the front of the house over here too, because there was like this perfect little spot for it. And then I just brought the landscaping around the front of the house and made it look a little bit more complete that way, since there was that gap with where the trash can was. And then I just added a walking path where it looks like the grass has been kind of dead from Sims walking back to the back of the house. But yeah, anyways, this is basically it for the renovation. I hope you guys have enjoyed, and hopefully you guys are looking forward to future ones. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and please leave any comments or suggestions you have, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye!